Now the hook I'm going to be using to tie the Grannom is this one here. This is a filling mill hook. It's called the Ultimate Dry. It's a size 16, though I would say it's probably closer to a 14 than a 16, but it's ideal for the Grannom, especially the female. If you want to tie the male's slightly smaller. I would probably go more in that style of hook with a size 18. So anyway, thread I'm going to be using once I put some wax on it is a Rusty Dun in 8/0. So what we do is we start at the eye and we put down a layer of thread along the shank, full length of the shank, and then remove the waste. Now I want to come round the bench slightly because I want to put the egg sac just below, and to represent the egg sac I'm using just an inset green coloured close cell foam, this one here, 2mm thick, and we cut a length away which is round about 3mm, and then what I'm going to do is just seal the end, and it slightly darkens it doing this, just get the lighter on it and just lightly do it, just be careful. Right, and let's get some sort of shape. Let's give it a second and then we can tap it with our fingers and this will shape it out better. You can see the darkness and the colour at the back. Now to represent the egg sac, a couple of mil or so over the back is fine. Pinch and loop it on the top, 3 or 4 turns. There we are. Now what I like to do is just stretch the foam out and take the thread up the body, but basically winding the thread up like it was ribbing the fly, just to stretch it out. So about 2/3 of the way up, and then basically trim away. This will help balance the body, keep it the same thickness. Now for the body I'm going to be using the sort of CDC Dubbing. Now this is the remains of the wing. When I'm tying these flies, I keep the dubbing, I keep the remains, trim it away from the feathers, and I use this as a dubbing. And now I'm going to use this up on the body. So what I'm going to do is, it's quite easy to dub. Just lightly dub it onto your thread, just a good, don't be shy, just pile it on, because you can stretch it out. Now you can see I'm obviously only about halfway down. At times I like to just work towards the back. It's easier to control. Put your fingers in to get the dubbing on, or tighten in. It's easier to get your fingers in further up than down at the bend of the hook. So just work my way back up then, just thinking of the shape of the body. Now the body of a caddis is quite pronounced, quite a good thickness in the body, so don't be shy with it. Plus this obviously with the CDC Dubbing will float the fly. Just going to tidy up this end here a wee bit with the thread first. Check just to see. There we are. That should do it. Now we can trim this a wee bit if you want. I like to trim it just to get a nice shape. All I'm doing here, I'm not cutting into the body, I'm just taking away the outer edge of the fibres. Don't want to go in with the scissors too thick. I mean, if you cut into the body you'll cut the thread, so just be careful. If you're happy with the shape, it's fine. I've got more wax on my thread. Just tidying this area up. Now I'm going to tie in some dyed and natural CDC. Now I've got some feathers here, I've dyed a light cinnamon. These are just a domestic CDC, domestic duck, which are originally white. And I've dyed these a light cinnamon with a wee touch of black, just to darken it a bit. It's something you don't have to do this, but it's just that I like it. So the wing of the Grannom has a slight tinge of brown in it, so now I need 2 of these, and just to get a wee boost, get a natural, the grey. If you haven't got the dye, just use grey. So I've got 3 feathers. This is basically the underwing of the Grannom. CDC just slightly longer, slightly by the egg sac at the back, 2 or 3 turns. Screw that in. trim away. Now remember, keep this here, this is your dubbing for the front. So what I do is trim it away either side. Just trim it, it's very easy to do. Keeping 3 feathers together. That's your blend. I'll set that there ready to tie the thorax so you can see what I'm doing. Wax on your thread, tidy the thorax area up. Just go all the way up. Make sure the wing of the fibres, the CDC feathers are sitting. That's fine. It's okay. And then get some, this is some roe deer, which I'm going to give it. This gives it a bit of backbone, as they say, a bit of colour as well. Just helps to keep the, well, keeps the fly up, keeps the structure of the shape of the fly far better at times. So what I'm going to do is not too much, don't go, if you get too much you'll have problems tying off. So you'll need a wee drop into the stacker. Tips first, tap on your desk, some broken ends there, take them away. Tips are lined up, remove it from the stacker. One fibre too long there, I'm just going to take it away. Well, it's slightly longer than the CDC. So there's your wing length there, so put that on your finger and thumb. Trim away the excess. Again, a touch of wax, just gives you that bit extra grip. Tie it on top, nice and tight. Now I'm taking the thread to the, basically towards the eye, because I'm going to dub up and come back. Now I'm just going to show you, these are the fibres I cut off the remains of the wing. Never throw away the waste of the CDC feathers, it's really good fibre. Now there it's there, I'm just going to lightly, I'll just put it onto the side of the thread and then just lightly dub it on. It maybe be too much though, but just take some of it away. And don't be shy with it, because this is going to represent the legs. And at the same time it'll help float the fly. Now I'm just going to wind up. The dubbing's quite loose, it's purposely doing that so that the legs will spring out. So we wind up. Enough dubbing, we can then stretch the fibres out and then take the thread through the thorax. Just as you get to the eye, you take away the excess. Draw back these fibres, your fingers, hold them back. Bring your thread to the front. Make sure you've got a nice wee head there. Easier to basically varnish the head by doing this wet finish. Obviously put the varnish on about 1 centimetre from the eye, then wet finish, it'll lock it in, it'll never come off, it's solid. And there we are. Once that dries, you get a strong head. So with the thread, get your velcro to a wee quick look. Now what I like to do is hold the fly like this, get my velcro and then basically lightly brush or bring the dubbing out, pulling towards the eye slightly. Get a couple of horns there. Anyway, we don't need they, so just draw them back. Just push them back. Any too long you can actually break them away. But there we go. It's a good pattern for the Grannom. A couple of very long fibres there, we can just take them out. And there we go. If you feel you wanted to varnish the head, then you can do it. I'll show you how. If you forget to varnish it the way I did there, you can just hold it back. This is just a wee brush. I usually just tap the eye, let it soak towards it. Like that. Got a needle, some wire or a needle. And just clean the eye out. Swipe the hook with your finger. And there we are. And that's the Grannom, the female one. To give you an idea what the male looks like. It's a bit smaller, just less dressing. Same dress, most of it's much the same. Only leave out the egg sac. There he's there. A lot smaller. And it's worth having the smaller one. It's worth having both sizes because they will take one or other. And but anyway, great fly. In our area, we get the Grannom round about the end of April, beginning of May. It just depends on the weather. Lower part of the UK, it's probably by. But anyway, that's it. Great fly to have, and hope you enjoyed that. If you enjoy the videos, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.